Well, hello and welcome. Welcome to the internet and welcome to my channel. It's me, Odio, and I'm back again. And I'm going to be doing another review, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be me really doing some rambling and some ranting. I'm going to be doing a movie snacks review. My personal favorite snacks. It should be exciting. Let's get it going. All right, awesome. I'm happy to be here. I'm going to be doing this video, so a little bit different. Didn't watch a show or anything like that. Just going to be talking about just my myself here and my own personal thoughts on the movie snack hierarchy. And when I was making this video, I did figure out there is a bit of a hierarchy. I must admit, I've broken it down into kind of 4 categories. One of them's not really movies, but it's the theater, going to the theater, watching movies at home, television movies, and finally pay-per-views, which is not really movies, but still snacks count there too. So I'm going to start off with the obvious one, the movie theaters. That's where like the whole idea came from. And I've been going to theater for a long time. First things first, though, like the obvious one to get out of the way. I love having popcorn when I go to the movie theater, and it's only gotten better over the years. Like when I was a kid, you would get popcorn and the top layer would have butter, but then you get over that and it'd be like just like a desert, like eating the rest of the popcorn. You're like, I should have got a bigger drink because like there's no more butter. But now it's like, yeah, do you want like 3 or 4 layers of butter? Yes. Would you like me to churn it in there with this? Yeah. Just butter it all up, right? I don't even want to be able to get up from my chair. There's so much butter on my popcorn. And it's awesome. I get it every time. That's the way to get popcorn. And but back in the day, you didn't get it like that. So that's a big improvement. But yeah, like some of my favorite movie snacks, and I was thinking about this, I don't even know if a lot of them exist anymore. Like I'm remembering them from like way back in the day going to the theater. Like we didn't go to the theater that often when I was a kid. It was almost like you went sometimes, right? But it was like you're pretty cool if you went to the movie theater. And I remember my favorite snack to get there for a long time was these square Macintosh toffee things. I never saw them anywhere else except at the theater. So for a long time I thought, well, that's a theater snack. You got to go there to get it. And I would get there, and it was pretty hard to eat. Let me tell you, like half my teeth would almost be like pulled out, like you're chewing this thing. And heaven forbid if it's cold. Where I grew up, it was cold a lot, right? So that made them like hard as a rock. So then you kind of had to warm them up in your hands or eat them. So, but I still loved them. I got them like every time I went to the theater. They were a great movie snack. And I usually could only get like one snack because there was like a couple of us kids, right? But I used to always be smart. If you're going to get one, get the biggest one. So I used to always get Charleston Chews. That was another one I really liked, and I still like, but I don't see it that much. But same thing, I used to only see that at the movie theater. So I thought, okay, that's a movie theater bar. I used to always get them, and then I saw one time there was a chocolate one, and that was like pretty rare. Like back in the day, like I went to the original Ninja Turtles movie in the movie theater, and the lineup was like way out the door. And let me tell you, if you got there early enough to get in to see Ninja Turtles on opening weekend, and early enough that you got a chocolate Charleston Chew, buddy, you were the man on the playground. You were the guy. Like it was, you almost wanted to keep the wrapper to show people that you had it, right? Like, but anyway, it was a great movie snack, and it was huge. And I used to really love getting those too. But nowadays, when I go, I pretty much avoid chocolate. I'll get like nibs. I used to also get Whoppers when I was a kid, and that's just like the ultimate I don't give a shit who's sitting next to me expression, because like you're eating those things, like they're like loud, they're popping, people looking over like, oh, excuse me. Like you're like, yeah, they're just really delicious. You want one? Like, no, I just want you to not have one. But anyway, I used to eat them a lot, and I have a lot of friends who really like them. But yeah, I don't eat them anymore very often. Not at the theater anyway. And they're also chocolate. I try to avoid that. You make a mess when you're in the theater. Even now, you get the popcorn, you get all the butter on, you get those like buttery popcorn hands. You're like, you don't even want to like touch your phone when you're leaving. You're like, you don't want to wipe it in your sleeve, so you're looking for the napkins that you took a big fistful of, and now you don't know where you put them. Are they under your chair? I don't know. I couldn't see them either. I think I put them down. But that's the thing, right? Popcorn's great, and you're going to get it anyway. And everyone gets that. So that's probably the best, I guess, movie snack. And a lot of people don't agree. My brother, he's all about the hot dog and nachos when he gets in there. That's his go-to. That's what he wants to get. I also went. Actually, I had a buddy named Furley. One time, we went into the movie theater. Like I think we were going to see Snatch. This was a long time ago. And I was like sneaking in an RC Cola, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get in like nice cheap pop. And as I'm sitting down, like I had that like hidden in my coat. the movie starts, and like I look over and like this guy, he's eating a plate of like roast beef dinner, and I'm like, whoa, what are you doing for? He's like, oh, it's Nan's. He's like, don't worry about it, man. He's like, I got a fork, and I was like, you got that's the question you thought I had? Like, wow. And he ate the whole thing. He even had gravy. I don't know if it was like, I think it was in his pocket, but like, yeah, I mean, that's when I learned you could like just sneak things in. Yeah, and like, let me tell you, going to the movies back in the day, it wasn't like now. You didn't get to like pick your seat. You had to show up early if you wanted to get a good seat. There was no internet. I didn't know when movies started or whatever. I could have read the newspaper, I think, now about it. But yeah, I didn't. So we only had a couple ways to find out what movies are playing. Someone telling you, like, hey, I seen this last night at whatever time. Or we had this number you would call. Now, where I'm from, even my friends would come from away. They all wanted to call this number and hear when movies were going to play. I don't remember the guy's name, and it's been like 25 years since I heard it. But he used to be pretty funny. Like I used to hear rumors like, oh, he was on Jay Leno and all these other things. Never confirmed any of it, you know. This is just rumors in a small town back in the day. But yeah, you would call into that, and he would have a recording on there, and it would be a pretty slow recording, and he would emphasize all kinds of words in like a pretty random order. I'm going to attempt to do his voice now. It's not a very good impression, but just to give you an idea of what it sounded like, this was our internet back then. This is how you figured out what time movies started and like when you could go and what the rating was. He would come on kind of like, you know, be like, ring, ring. Thanks for calling the movie guide. Here's the movie news for Wednesday, starting tonight at 7 and 9 p.m. Look out! It's Twister! Rated PG. Get more to life. Go out and see a movie. And it would just boop, hang up. And you had to, like, we would listen to the whole thing every time. And I was like, that last part doesn't sound like a request. Sounds like a command. I think this guy's telling me to get more life. I could get out and see the movie, right? Like, it was awesome. I don't remember that guy's name, but he was fantastic. Like I used to call that all the time. I loved it. I think I met him because I'm pretty sure I got a free movie pass. So hey, great guy. But yeah, that was the internet, and that was how me and Brian went to see Home Alone, which is I learned about popcorn there too. But that's how we knew when Home Alone started, and that's when we decided to go to Home Alone. So. But when I was I remember when I was really young going to theater, me and my buddy, I don't want to name him, we'll call him Little Brian. We went to the movie theater to see Home Alone, and that movie was hilarious. Like, me and him were laughing so hard. Like, the whole theater could definitely hear us. He laughed so hard, he fell down out of his chair. He knocked his popcorn over. It went all over the floor and everything. I shared my popcorn with him, right? Which, I'm pretty stingy, right? But I just shared my popcorn with him. I didn't want my Skittles, because I knew he might ask or something. But yeah, I just, that was my first time ever, like, really, like, everyone loves popcorn. So, it was just cool. And, like, we used to always have it everywhere. Which brings me on to my next point. Home. Watching movies at home at your house or someone else's house. Now, what's that like? Well, you usually want to try to pay attention to movies, especially if you haven't seen it, but popcorn, like I said, also a big one. For me, I have like, I love popcorn, but I got one of those like popcorn machines where you like pop it and like the top, you put the butter in there and it melts, and then when you're done, you like pour it over. Like, and I get lots of butter on there. I love it. And like I stir it up as I'm going. Like it's awesome. I love popcorn at home when I'm watching. When I was a kid, we used to always do it too. Microwave popcorn. My mom had one of those machines. We used to have TGIF on Friday nights. That's for the TV section, but it was pretty popular everywhere, and it's a great way to have popcorn even now. And at home, I will have chocolate. Whatever chocolate's around, like chocolate bars, candy bars, or whatnot. I'll definitely eat them when I'm watching a movie at the house. No problem at all. And chips. Chips is a big one. Rarely do I get them in the movie theater. I don't even know. Like, did you even sell them? They probably don't to push popcorn. But chips at home all the time. Yeah, gotta have some chips. That's the best. And even like hot food, pizza pockets, pizza bites. Like, some little appetizer thing you can eat while you're watching. That's always pretty good. And I mean, even when I was younger, like we used to get some sweets. One time, I can't remember, sometime in the 90s, my friend, we're going to call him, we'll just call him Mr. Flower, or Mr. Clean. I like Mr. Clean. So Mr. Clean, we basically were all sitting down watching a movie, and we actually had an intercom back then, and like intercoms were like new, like you press them and like people in other rooms can hear you, like, whoa, what's going on here? Technology. So he like hit it, and he was like, Mommy, cookies. And we kept watching the movie, and my mom, God bless her, brought us dish like, here's the cookies. I was like, what? And she actually got us cookies. Like, just want to say points to my mom. She was amazing. But yeah, sometimes we had cookies when we were watching movies. And one time, me and my friend Bly, we actually took an entire Pillsbury, like one of those like entire things, made one cookie on like a giant pizza pan and cooked it. And it was like pretty uneven and like not that great. But we ate the whole thing. Like, didn't even hesitate, not a minute. Like, it was amazing. Definitely recommend probably not doing that. But if you do it, it's a lot of fun. Also, when watching movies at home or someone else, no drinks are off the table. Water, pop, I'll make tea, coffee. You think I'm going to pass out during the movie or whatever, right? Like, anything. Nothing's off the table when you're at home, right? So, and you're not worried about, like, making a mess or something because you can just clean it up because you're home, right? So, no big deal. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, there's lots of other things I've had at home, Skittles and everything else, lots of junk food. But just saying, these are kind of the go-tos that I, like, regularly are going to have all the time. But also, going on to my next topic, which is television, which, like I said, if there's a hierarchy, seems like TV's on the bottom. Everything is literally on the table when it comes to television, movies, or shows. Like, people will eat entire meals. You'd be like, "Oh, you guys having dinner? Yeah, it's going to be done at this time. People will put it down in front of the TV and watch it. Literally nothing is off the table, pun intended, when it comes to watching television. At leftovers, anything around the house. Oh, is that a half-eaten bag of chips? I'll eat that, right? Was that a couple of random bars? Sure. Candy left over from something? No, I'll eat the rest of that. Like, something in this dish? Yeah, sounds great. Let's have it, right? Because when you're watching TV, it doesn't matter. You might even be ironing, folding clothes. Like, it could be like dancing, whatever, looking at your phone. TV, like I said, people, because it's always on in some people's houses. Like, and so it's pretty much, when it comes to me, I'm the same way. Anything, I don't care. When I'm watching TV, there's nothing really. There's no real TV that has me riveted so much that I can't or I won't. Or I guess that's a lie. There are some shows that I have not eaten or anything during, but most of the time, yeah, I'll definitely eat a meal in front of it. Like, it was when I was a kid, we used to sit around the table and like the news was always on, and like I sat at the end of the table so I could like look back and look at the TV when other stuff was on. Count Darkula and stuff used to come on around then sometimes, so I like that show when I was a kid. Anyway, I don't even know what it's like anymore. But yeah, like, so when it comes to television, like, it's pretty much the lowest of the hierarchy. Anything is on the table, whatever you want to eat, and anything at all. And like I said, my mom for TGIF used to make popcorn, but I don't remember really doing it for anything else. But she did do it for that. We used to all gather around the TV, and we would watch like Urkel, like Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, Step by Step. Like, there was lots of cool shows. It was really it was really good, and the popcorn was always good. My mom used the machine. That's probably why I like it now. Which like I said, that's kind of the bottom. So we're going to move on to the last one, which is kind of not got anything to do with movies. I mean, even the television is more like I'm talking about shows, but there are TV movies. To be fair, actually, now that I think about it, we used to watch Sundays, The Wonderful World of Disney. That used to come on. We used to all get together and watch that. And I used to always get like those Vachon cakes, like caramels or something like that. Really like them. My dad liked them too, so we used to always have those around. So I definitely, like I said, chocolate was a big thing, but yeah, always when we used to watch that one, we used to always have that, and sometimes hot chocolates and stuff. But yeah, TV movies were a big thing back then, and like you couldn't just DVD everything. It wasn't like that, right? Same thing when you would go to the movie theater, as I mentioned earlier. Which brings me to the last one, like I said, which doesn't really tie into those, and that's pay-per-views, boxing matches, UFC fights, WWE's, whatever have you, you know what I mean? Any events like that. And for those, it's usually pretty common. Beer, wings, pizza, chips with dip, something like that. We used to always have stuff like that. Still do. So like that's the common go-to for wings, right? you gotta have wings when you're watching the fight. And I remember we were watching pay-per-views for a long time. When I was really young, we were watching it. Me, Mr. Clean, and my friend Little Brian, and a couple other of us were all watching a pay-per-view fight. And we decided to order some pizzas for the night. So we went on down, and once they got ordered, we had to go outside to meet the guy. They had to kind of go. We had to meet him outside and go like a couple, like I'd say like about 50, 100 feet down. It saved us a delivery fee, like saved us $6, which back then was a lot of money, let me tell you. So we did that, and then we walked down and we got the pizzas. I had gotten one, and we had all gotten one. We a couple pizzas, right? So little Brian decided that it would be hilarious as we're walking by. He said, "You know what'd be funny, guys? You know what'd be hilarious?" And we're like, "Wow, if I threw this pizza off the bridge in the river." And then he did it. And I, what? And I had the other pizza, and I was like, oh no! I gripped it when I got up there. I ended up having to share it, and I'm stingy, right? But yeah, he just threw it in the water. Like, what? Mr. Clean went down to see, like, is this okay? Can we save it? It's still good. It's still good. It wasn't still good. We didn't get any of that pizza, and I had a pepperoni one though, so we kind of shared it. But like, who does that, right? Like, what did he? This guy was for pizza. But yeah, I mean, he said back then it was going to be funny. It really wasn't funny that night. But I mean, think back. It's like a long time ago now. I'm still talking about it. So hey, kudos to you, little Brian. I guess it was pretty funny, but yeah. So pay-per-views are different. Like usually you got to pay more for the fights, and I think that's kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about the hierarchy. Like when it comes to the movie theater and like the pay-per-view, like you have the higher quality stuff, that you can eat quickly with your hands, whatever. When it comes to the television or at home, you'll eat a lot more. I will anyway. I'll eat a lot more. Like you'll have an entire dinner, leftovers, whatever. And if it's a movie you've seen before, say all bets are off. You'll do the same thing, right? So anyway, that's a review of my ramblings and rantings on movie snacks. Like I said, it's a different kind of video, but for double digits, I wanted to break one out. I'll definitely be doing some more of these from time to time. I'll be picking random topics. Who knows what I'll do? I like, it'll be the mood of the day. Whatever I feel like doing. Mood of the day. We'll see. But there'll be some more. But thanks so much if you watched this far. Really appreciate your time. And I hope you like and subscribe. And remember, stay out of trouble.